Do you throw your rank away when you play Overwatch? Because I know I do, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and let's talk about how to intelligently rank up when you play Overwatch, because I think this is quite simple, and I'm pretty sure everybody falls into this trap. I mean, I have. In fact, let me tell you a tale. So, if you follow me on Twitter, which is at Unit Lost Gaming, totally follow me on Twitter. It is awesome. I wanted to get into Grandmaster, and I managed to do it, right? And I actually got to 4,067, I think I got to. So that's a couple of wins into Grandmaster, right? That's pretty good. And I should have stopped at that. Like yesterday, I should have just stopped playing. But you know what I did? I went away at around about 7:30 in the evening. I did some work. I came back at like 10 p.m. And then I was like, oh yeah, let's play some more games. And now I'm 3,998. So I've actually lost the Grandmaster. I've lost like 4 games. Oh dear. Why the hell did that happen? Well, I'm pretty sure I know why this happens. And in this video, we're going to talk about this. Okay, let's start with some basics. The first thing you need to do is warm up. Do not come back from school, come back from work, sit down on your PC or your console, go straight into competitive. You are not ready to play the game. You might think, oh yeah, I don't want to waste my time warming up. I don't want to play quick play. I don't want to play in the arcade. I don't want to do training drills in custom games. I don't want to go into the practice range. I just want to get in there and start playing some games. The thing is, you will not be warm. You will not be ready for action. You might play okay, but you won't play as good as you would if you were actually warm and ready to go. You see, it's kind of like anything that's physical. Any sport, any competitive video game, anything like that. If you warm up and do a little bit of exercise before you begin, your muscles will be ready, your brain will be tuned, and you'll just be able to literally move faster. So you should always do this. This is a serious thing. A lot of people, they just don't do. They don't warm up, they go straight into a game, and then they suffer because of it. In fact, what you're doing is using those first competitive games to warm up, and then you're okay and ready to go. Maybe come your second competitive game or your third competitive game, which is not what you want. You want to be ready to go straight away. So always consider warming up. It is crucial. Play against the enemy team. What this means is pick heroes that counter what the enemy are doing, or try and do things that will mess up the enemy team. Don't just conform to the meta. I have seen so many games that have been thrown because the team will just simply refuse to change from a triple tank standard setup because, oh yeah, we don't need this, we can win. You know, so what if they've got a Tracer and a Genji? We don't need a Winston. We'll just keep going with Roadhog, Zarya and Reinhardt. It'll be fine. You know, we'll just push through. It's like, no, that is not fine. You have to play against what the enemy have. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Sty, if we play the meta, surely that's going to actually make us win more games. Well, you know what? I've played against the best players in the EU region. All the guys in the top 500. Well, not all of them, but I've played against the second-ranked guy in the EU, a load of top 500s throughout the entire range, and Grandmaster players and all of that stuff. And you know what is very surprising to me? You will see people that only play Torbjorn. You will see people that only play Symmetra on every single map. And I'm like, what are these guys doing? Why are they so high? Like, that can't be possible, right? If you look at Symmetra, take her out. Like, I play with a guy on Hollywood who was like just wanting to play Symmetra all the time. On the first point defense, Symmetra's great. Through the Wild West, Symmetra is not that great. She's very hard to use effectively there. You shouldn't really be playing her at that point. But this person would just carry on. And I'm thinking to myself, why is this the case? Like, what is going on? Why is that person just playing that hero? And more importantly, why is that person so highly rated? I mean, that person in question, when I looked at their statistics, they were really lowly rated in like the previous seasons. But now, suddenly they're high Grandmaster. It's like, what's going on? I think it's just because everybody conforms to the meta. They don't think intelligently and go, how can we deal with this person? Instead, they just keep slamming their head against the wall and then they lose. It's the same with Torbjorn. Torbjorn is actually quite good at the moment, but teams won't deal with him. They'll just let Torbjorn do whatever the hell he likes, and it's not great. You know, or when you see Mei blocking the choke, you'll see a team that'll just keep trying to push through the choke. They won't actually try and bait the wall out of Mei, maybe get a flank on to try and take out Mei or something like that. They'll just keep getting cut off over and over again by the wall, and then they'll die, and then they lose the game. Maybe the enemy team use a Bastion, in which case you need to swap up what you've got, because Soldier is not going to be... let me just make this a bit clearer. So imagine if you've got standard meta team. So you've got Reinhardt, Zarya, Roadhog, Lucio, Anna, Soldier. And the enemy team are on attack, right? And they put Bastion on the payload with Reinhardt in front of him and Mercy damage boosting him. How are you going to stop that? Like, Soldier is not going to be able to burn through Reinhardt's barrier before he's killed by Bastion. This is where you need to change. This is where maybe Soldier starts to play Pharah, so he can put some long-range damage in. Maybe you get a Mei, so you can boot the Bastion off the payload with the wall. There's a lot of ways of dealing with it, but teams just don't deal with it. You have to think intelligently about your picks. Don't believe in the hype of the meta. Play what the hell the enemy team have I've got, because you will get pro Genjis against you. How do you deal with a pro Genji that constantly kills the backline? You can say right now, Genji isn't the strongest in the current meta, right? Because there's a load of tanks and Genji's not great against tanks. But Genji can murder the backline. He can murder Lucio, Zenyatta, Ana. He can just kill those if he gets on top of them. If he keeps doing that over and over again, you're going to lose team fights because you've got no support. In that case, one of your tanks should totally play Winston to deal with him. What happens if the enemy team have got Tracer and Genji? Well, you need to get a Winston. Winston's not in the meta at all, but Winston will deal with those two heroes if they suddenly turn up. What I'm trying to say is the meta is not something that is in every game. Every game has got its own meta, right? What I mean by that is there's not this just overarching meta that everybody plays. There is, kind of. But if the enemy team don't do that for whatever reason, then you've got to work around your approach to the game to deal with them. Now, I know you're probably thinking, Sty, I can't tell team members to change, and do this and do that. What I'm talking about is the hero you're playing. Look at it and think, can I maybe play somebody a little bit different that could work better in this situation against what the enemy has? Always keep communication positive. All I mean by this is just praise your team when they do good stuff. And if you start feeling yourself beginning to become negative over the voice, like maybe you're like, oh God, what have you just done that for? Oh, why did you waste that ultimate? That's when you need to think, okay, right, I've got to take a few deep breaths now because I am starting to tilt. What you've got to do is remain positive all of the time. The moment you become negative, that's the moment you start to lose games, because it's going to be extremely difficult to pull that back because you're thinking negatively. It's going to spread to your team if you're talking negatively over the microphone, and you will lose games because of it. So just stay positive. You don't have to go into deep tactical knowledge or anything like that. Just say, well played, nice one. Come on guys, we can do this. Anything simple like that, it will boost the team's morale and you will start to win. But it is crucial that if you start getting negative, if you start becoming the guy who's tilting, you need to take a few deep breaths, maybe just calm down and just think about what you're doing, because you will cause the game to be a loss if you keep that negativity up. And finally, this is the reason why I lost all of those games last night and basically threw away my Grandmaster rank, because I played when I was not ready to play. You need to know when to stop playing competitively. There are, I would say, every day I can probably play 4 or 5 games at my peak ability. Then after that, I'm becoming tired. I'm going to start to become worse, right? Not drastically worse, but I'm going to make the wrong decisions every now and again. I might make the wrong calls over the microphone, and this could cause a defeat. So the idea of this is to always play when you are at peak performance levels. So this would be after you've warmed up, got a few quick play games in. This would be for me. So I've warmed up, got a few quick play games in. Then I go into competitive. First game, it doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss, but I'm still playing really well. Second game, playing really well. Third game, playing really well. Fourth game, I'm playing all right. Fifth game, I'm sort of like, okay, I might be starting to get a little bit dodgy now, but if it's a win and like I've won all of those games, that's cool. Maybe go for a 6th game. If it's not a win though and I lose, what I'm going to start doing to myself now is going, all right, I think I probably need to come off now, because this 5-game limit, after that, I know that I'm going to get worse. But if I keep winning, if I win all 5, then sure, I can play a 6th game. It's sort of about being intelligent and treating your SR as kind of like an investment, right? It's almost like your savings. Like, how do you want to spend your savings? Well, you want to spend them when you've got all your wits about you. You don't want to just throw them away on any old random crap. And this is totally what I've been doing. And I've been doing this all of the time. Like, I'll sit down and I'll gain rating. It always happens. In fact, it literally happens every single time I play the game, which is every day for like 4 or 5 hours, probably even longer than that. I'll sit down, I'll gain SR. I'll gain maybe 40, 50, 60 SR straight away. And then I will spend the next 4 or 5 games losing all of that. Like, I'll win a game, lose a game, draw a game, lose a game, lose a game, win a game. And what happens there is I end the day with the same amount of rating that I started the day. Or maybe I end the day with like 10 more rating on what I've got, or 10 less. This happens every single time. It's because I don't know when to say no. It's because I want to just play Overwatch, right? And I know all you guys are the same. You want to sit down and just slam Overwatch because it's a great game. What I'm going to start doing, though, is come off competitive and start playing quick play instead, and start playing in the arcade. Maybe I'll play on my other account. Just do something just to keep me playing, because I don't want to just become the guy who is not leveling up. Well, it's not leveling up, it's ranking up unintelligently, because that is what I'm doing. And I'm sure all of you guys are doing this. So just to quickly recap this, what you need to do is don't play the meta, just play against the enemy team. Make sure you pick heroes that deal with the enemy. Warm up before you start playing as well. Don't just go into a competitive game cold. That is a bad idea. Always keep positive to your team over comms. Know when you're starting to tilt, and when you are, that's probably a good time to come off the game. and know how to control yourself. Don't just keep playing games and grinding away, because that is a bad attitude to have, because you will throw away rating, and that's not what you want to do. Alright guys, I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and do leave below any tips on any ways you guys have got of dealing with this, because I think it's a very interesting topic, and you can totally level up intelligently. I know guys who don't play that much Overwatch, yet they've got better ranks than me. Would I say they're better players than me? I don't know. Like, obviously I've got more experience, but they're playing the game in intelligent blocks. They're not just sitting playing it every single day for 4 or 5 hours. They maybe play it for 5 hours a week, and it means that they can stay competitive, because when they come into the game, they are fresh. I mean, like I said, it's the same with anything. If you go into it fresh, you are going to perform much better. You guys have probably all had this as well, where you stop playing the computer or stop playing your consoles for a couple of days, and then you come back to them and suddenly you're just like way better. Like, you feel super fresh. I think that's what a lot of people suffer from when they play Overwatch, because they're just slamming away on the ladder, and that's not what you should be doing. You have to be a little bit more intelligent. Alright guys, I'm Salo, so this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.